I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. So here's the thing. A week ago, I walked away from my job. No new offer waiting for me. No golden parachute. No trust fund. Just me and a decision that scared the hell out of me. And honestly, it still scares me. I want to be real with you because I think a lot of people see these quit your job videos online and think it is all glamorous. You see some guy on Instagram posting a photo of his laptop at a beach and you think, wow, he made it. But let me tell you what nobody shows you. Nobody shows you the night before where you can sleep because you are running through worst case scenarios in your head. Nobody shows you the moment you sign that resignation letter and your hand is literally shaking. Nobody shows you the first morning where you wake up and realize, oh shit, there is no paycheck coming at the end of this month. I am 7 days into this thing and I want to give you the raw, unfiltered truth about what it is actually like. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. Because if you are in your 20s and you are thinking about making a big change, whether that is quitting a job, starting a business, or just getting your finances, in order you need to know what you are signing up for. Let me back up a little bit and tell you how I got here. I was some hotshot finance guy who had everything figured out. I was the opposite in my early 20s. I was a complete mess with money. I was spending everything I earned and then some. I had credit card debt. I was buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't even like. I was eating out every single day because I was too lazy to cook. I was paying for subscriptions I forgot I even had. My bank account was a disaster zone and I just didn't care because I figured I was young and I'd figure it out later. Spoiler alert, later never comes unless you make it come. I remember one specific moment that changed everything. I was 23 years old sitting in my apartment, which I could barely afford looking at my credit card statement. I had about $3,000 in debt, which to some people doesn't sound like a lot, but to me at that time it felt like a mountain. I had no savings, I had no emergency fund, I had no plan. I was working a job that paid okay, but I was living paycheck to paycheck because I had zero discipline. I looked around my apartment at all the stuff I had bought, and I realized I could even tell you what most of it was. Just random garbage I thought would make me happy, and that was the moment I said, enough is enough. So I started making changes. Small ones at first. I stopped eating out and started cooking at home. I canceled every subscription I wasn't using. I sold stuff I didn't need. I made a budget for the first time in my life and I actually stuck to it. I started learning about personal finance, not from some guru who wanted to sell me a course, but from books and YouTube videos and blogs. I learned about the 50-30-20 rule. I learned about emergency funds and compound interest and index funds. I learned that you don't need to be a genius to build wealth. You just need to be consistent. The biggest thing I did was move back in with my parents. I know that sounds like a step backward, and for a while it felt like one. I was in my mid-20s living in my childhood bedroom while my friends were getting apartments and posting pictures of their fancy city views. But here's the thing, I didn't care about the optics, I cared about my future. Living with my parents for about 2.5 years allowed me to save an insane amount of money. I was able to pay off all my debt completely. I built a 6-month emergency fund. I started investing consistently. I set myself up financially in a way that I never could have done if I was paying rent. And yeah, it wasn't glamorous. My social life took a hit. Dating was awkward, but I kept reminding myself that this was temporary. I was making a sacrifice now so I wouldn't have to struggle later, and it worked. Fast forward to today, I am 27. I have no debt. I have savings. I have investments. I have an emergency fund that can cover me for months, and I have the freedom to quit my job and try something new. That freedom didn't come from winning the lottery or getting lucky with crypto. It came from years of boring, consistent habits, saving a little every month, investing regularly, avoiding lifestyle inflation, making the smart choice instead of the fun choice over and over and over again until it became automatic. But let me be honest with you about something. Even with all that preparation, quitting my job was terrifying. I have been working for other people since I was 16 years old. I know how to show up at a certain time, do my work, collect my paycheck, and go home. That structure is comfortable. It removes uncertainty. You trade your time for money and you know exactly what you are getting. When you go out on your own, that certainty disappears. You don't know when your next payment is coming. You don't know if you are making the right decisions. You don't have a boss telling you what to do. So you have to be your own boss. And let me tell you, being your own boss is way harder than it sounds. In this first week, I have felt every emotion you can imagine. Excitement, gratitude, anxiety, doubt, motivation, laziness, fear, hope. Sometimes all in the same day, I wake up and I don't have a schedule, so I have to create one. I have to decide what is important and what can wait. I have to hold myself accountable because nobody else is going to do it for me. And I am not going to lie, there have been moments where I thought about just applying for another job and going back to the comfort of a paycheck, but then I remind myself why I did this. I quit because I wanted to bet on myself. I wanted to see what I could do when I had no safety net. I wanted to prove that I could build something on my own terms, and I am not there yet, not even close. But I am taking the first steps, and that is what matters. Let me talk about the money side of things because I know that is what a lot of you are curious about. When I left my job, I took about a 90% pay cut. I am not exaggerating. My income dropped dramatically. My expenses are low because I kept my lifestyle cheap, but still the numbers don't lie. I need to generate income, I have some money saved up, but that is not going to last forever. So there is pressure, real pressure. The kind of pressure that makes you think twice about every purchase, the kind that makes you wake up early because you know you have work to do. But here's what I've learned about pressure. It can crush you or it can focus you. Right now, I am choosing to let it focus me. I am looking for software clients to offer my skills. I am working on my content. I am putting in the hours because I know that nobody is coming to save me. If I fail, it is on me, but if I succeed, it is also on me. And I think that is beautiful in a weird way. The first thing I did this week was sit down and figure out my bare minimum number. How much money do I absolutely need to survive each month? Food, rent, insurance, gas, the essentials, I wrote it all down and I made that my target. Everything I earn above that is a win. That simple exercise took so much pressure off because I realized I don't need to make a ton of money to be okay. I just need to make enough. And when your expenses are low enough, suddenly the world opens up. You can take risks, you can try things, you can fail and try again because your overhead is so low that one bad month doesn't ruin you. That is the lesson I want to drill into your head if you are listening to this. Keep your expenses low. The lower your expenses, the more freedom you have. Most people chase higher income, but they let their expenses rise right along with it. So they get a raise and they immediately get a nicer car or a bigger apartment. They never actually get ahead. They just upgrade their lifestyle. If you want real financial freedom, Dante, focus on making more money, focus on needing less money. That is the cheat code. I also want to talk about something that has been on my mind. I've been making videos on this channel for a while now, and I've made some controversial ones, politics, business, dating, topics that get people fired up, and I've seen the hate in the comments. People calling me names, telling me I am wrong, saying I don't know what I am talking about, and you know what, it used to bother me? It used to make me second guess myself. But I've realized something. If you have opinions and you put them out there, people are going to disagree. That is just part of putting yourself out there. And I've decided I am not going to let that stop me. In fact, I think a lot of people need to hear different perspectives. We live in this bubble where we only consume content that agrees with our existing beliefs. We follow people who think like us. We mute anyone who challenges us, and that is how you become closed-minded. I don't want to be that person. I want to be someone who is genuinely curious about how other people think, even if I disagree with them, especially if I disagree with them, because that is how you grow. So I am going to keep making videos about things that matter. About money, about life, about the decisions we make in our 20s that shape our future. Some of those videos might be controversial, some might make you mad, and that is fine. I'd rather have a conversation where people disagree than a monologue where everyone just nods along. One thing I've noticed in this first week is how easy it is to get complacent. When you don't have a boss or a schedule, you can slip into laziness without even realizing it. You wake up and you think I'll start working after breakfast. Then after breakfast, you think I'll start after I check my phone. Then you check your phone for an hour. Then you think I'll start after lunch. And before you know it, the day is gone and you haven't done anything meaningful. I caught myself doing that a couple of times this week and I had to snap out of it. I had to remind myself that this is not a vacation. This is my life now. I am building something and that requires discipline. So I started setting small daily goals. 3 things I want to accomplish every day. Not 10 things, not a huge list. That overwhelms me, just 3 things. If I do those 3 things, I consider the day a win. Some days I do more, some days I barely do those 3 things, but having that structure helps. It keeps me moving forward even when I don't feel motivated. I think a lot of people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, and they end up waiting forever. The truth is motivation is overrated. What you need is consistency. You need to show up every day even when you don't. Feel like it. You need to do the boring work that nobody sees. That is what separates people who actually make progress from people who just talk about it. I look at my early YouTube videos and I cringe. The audio was terrible. The editing was rough. I was clearly reading from a script and it sounded stiff and unnatural, but I kept making videos, I kept learning, I kept getting a little bit better each time. And now looking back, I can see how far I've come. Not because I am talented, but because I was consistent, I kept showing up. That is the message I want to leave you with. Whatever you are thinking about doing, starting a business, learning a skill, getting your finances together, getting in shape, whatever it is, just start. Don't wait until you are ready, because you'll never be ready. Don't wait until you have the perfect plan, because the plan will change anyway. Just start. Take one small step today, then another one tomorrow, and another one the day after that, and eventually you look up and you realize you've traveled further than you ever thought possible. I am not where I want to be yet. I am not making the money I want to make. I don't have everything figured out, but I am moving. I am making progress. And that is all any of us can do. So here's my plan for the next few weeks. I am going to find software clients. I am going to put my skills to work and generate income. I am going to keep making videos and improving the quality. I am going to stay disciplined and focused, and I am going to trust the process. If it works, great. If it does, I'll adjust and try something else. That is the beauty of having low expenses and a safety net. You can afford to fail and try again. If you are in your 20s and you feel stuck, I want you to know that you have more power than you think. You can change your situation. It won't happen overnight. It will take time and effort and sacrifice, but it is possible. I am living proof. I went from being broke and in debt at 23 to having enough freedom and savings to quit my job and pursue my own path at 27. If I can do it, you can do it too. Start with the basics. Track your spending. Make a budget, cut unnecessary expenses, build an emergency fund, pay off high-interest debt, start investing even if it is just a small amount every month. Learn as much as you can about personal finance, surround yourself with people who are going in the same direction, and most importantly, be patient building wealth. And building a life takes time. There are no shortcuts. Anyway, that is where I am at. 1 week into this new chapter, scared but excited, uncertain but hopeful. Broke compared to where I was, but richer in the ways that actually matter. I don't know what the future holds, but I am going to find out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. If you are going through something similar, or if you are thinking about making a big change, I'd love to hear your story. Leave a comment and let me know what is going on in your world. I read them all and I genuinely care about what you think. And hey, if you are just here for the gameplay, I appreciate you too. Sometimes you just need to turn off your brain and watch some old school Call of Duty. I get it. Peace.